All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plains. The ants in France stay mainly in your pants. Stay mainly in your pants. Hang on, I want to get the chat going. Let me get that going. Hang on. Hang on. Don't you freak out. Hang on. All right, I can't get the chat going. All right, everybody freak out. Wait. Top there. Nope. Where's the chat? There we go. All right. Good. I got the chat. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Good. All right. Good. Got the chat. Got everything going. So good morning. How are you? Comment allez-vous? Today it's a Monday, July 30th, 2018. This is a daily Forex trading strategy session. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Wayne McDonald. I am the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. Namaste. Thank you very much for being a client. And if you have not yet joined the Traders Way family, please visit TradersWay.com. Open up an account. Let me give you one good reason, because I love you. I want you to succeed. I really do. So I'm going to teach you everything I've learned over the last 15 years of trading currencies day in and day out, 5, 10, 15 hours a day, sometimes more, with the hopes that you can become an independent trader. You can make all your own decisions. You don't need to listen to me. You don't need to listen to the talking heads. But you can develop your own strategy, do your own analysis, set up your own trade plans, and make your own money to take care of you, your family, your loved ones, your friends, and be a hero for society at large. Might as well be you. The world needs a hero. Is it a little dark in the office? Hang on. How's that? So anyways, it's really truly a symbiotic relationship. If you can trade successfully and profitably, you'll trade with us for years and years and years and years and years to come. And we simply want to be the prime broker for your successful Forex trading business. So we look at it as investing into you up front with education and support. And if you succeed, it benefits you, it benefits us. That makes sense, right? I don't know if you can tell. That's a pretty short haircut, huh? She's like, how about a 3? I'm like, a little shorter. A 2? A little shorter. 1? I'm like, I don't know. Is there anything between 0 and 1? She's like, I have half. Let's do half. My wife's like, don't do that again. I'm like, come on, that's how the kids are doing it at Harvard. Yeah, apparently I'm not a kid. Anyways, I am still sick, but as you can tell, I'm not nearly as sick as I was before, so it's only been a week. But never took a day off all last week. This week I have much more of a voice. It's amazing what 12 hours a day of sleep will do. So let's just go through the charts. I guess I need to say something about fundamentals. This week is dominated by central banks. We have Bank of Japan, Bank of England, and the Fed. The Fed ain't going to do nothing. It's just not a live month. They'll raise next time. As far as Bank of Japan, they'll probably announce a change in their purchase of equities. So I don't know what the stat is now, but the Bank of Japan owns a crazy amount of the Nikkei. Like, it's crazy how much. I forget the stat, but the stat's nuts, how the percentage. So, like, for example, all other central banks seem to be buying bonds, right? Part of quantitative easing. the Bank of Japan is actually buying the stock market and has been buying the stock market and owns a huge amount of the stock market and the bond market. You're like, oh my gosh. Charles says 74%. Like, I can't even believe that. It's ridiculous. They own their own country. You know, kind of, have you ever heard of a house of cards? Well, yeah. So anyways, there's just probably not enough. There's not any stock left. So anyways, they'll probably announce that they can't do that anymore. By the way, how do you unwind a bond portfolio worth trillions of dollars? You just let them mature. And over the course of 0 to 30 years, whatever bonds you bought will just mature and roll off your balance sheet. How do you unwind a stock portfolio? You actually have to end up selling the stock market. So at what point is the Bank of Japan going to want to sell the stock market when they're the majority? First of all, it hurts themselves, but then how does it help the country, right? So how do you even unwind that? I don't know. But they can't raise interest rates. They just still can't. So what can they do? Maybe change that policy because their economy is healthy, or maybe because that there isn't any more shares to buy. Yeah, so Hassan's like, why do it? You know, I'll tell you, I don't know why they would want to do it or how they would do it. It's more like the rumor bin. That's what everyone else is saying, that they're going to announce that. So I'll be honest with you. It's just what everyone else is saying. They did say something a few weeks ago, but you got to remember I was at Harvard, so I wasn't there in the room. But somebody at the Bank of Japan said something recently in the last 3 or 4 weeks that kind of alluded to it. So here it comes. Okay. The Fed, it's not a live meeting. And then here's the other thing. Okay, the Bank of England, that's going to be an interesting one. Because Carney, I think Carney's done a great job. Not because he's Canadian and I'm Canadian, but I think he's done a good job under the circumstances. I think he was cleaning things up at the Bank of England, and then Brexit happened, right? And you can see where he just went, oy vey. You know, you can see it in his eyes, like, how could you guys do this to yourselves, right? When Brexit was announced, right? So anyways, he's been dealing with Brexit. I think he struggled with his renewal of his contract, if you remember, right? Right? Oh, hang on, I'm still sick. Sorry. More coffee. So anyways, Carney is a strong individual. Canadians are stubborn. I don't know if you've met that. They're super nice, above average in intelligence and good looks, but we're also stubborn. And so I think he's going to raise interest rates because he wants to prove that he's in control. I mean, I think I think he's just going to say, look, I understand all this Brexit nonsense. You English folk have been babbling on for years and still haven't achieved jack. So I'm just going to raise interest rates because I'm in control of your central bank, and I'm going to do it because I can. Watch me. Okay? That's how a Canadian would do it, right? Hey, Turtle, so come on. Look at this. Not bad. 45. Hot stuff. Especially when your wife's like, don't ever do that again. All right, okay. So anyways, there's the babble about fundamentals. Let's do some technicals, huh? Okay, USD kitty cat. Let's drop this onto the daily. Okay. Remember what our goal was for the week? Down here. What's the goal for the month? Down here. So although the Canadian dollar has been relatively strong, the plan was to be down here. So this is really an inside week. And in situations like that, I don't know. What are you going to do? Okay? What are you going to do? Well, I can tell you what you want to do. Is anyone a bull on this? You'd probably want to see oil prices or other commodity prices come down, but is there anyone a bull on this? Maybe the Fed says something like, hey, with the high GDP, we need to more aggressively raise interest rates. We're behind the curve. I don't think they'll say that because it was not shocking in any way that we had a 4.0 or 4.1 GDP. But if you are a bull, I think what you'd want to do is you'd want to look at this. You want to take also into account that we didn't make the target as a bear. A bearish target would be here, at least here, for the month of July. Okay? So a bull would say, all right, I'm going to take into account that the bears didn't do their job, right? And then I'm going to look left. I'm going to look at support. And then, now, you ready for this? What about 1 week from today? Actually, it's not even a week from today. What about next month? When is next month? Is it tomorrow? It might be tomorrow. Is anyone ready to play next month's pivots? If you're a bull and you want to be long the month of August, you're at your price right now. Okay? Is it Wednesday? Okay. If you want to be long for the month of August, you want to drop in, you want to look to long basically anywhere where we are now. You kind of want to pick a logical bottom. Well, this is the projected bottom for the week. Okay, we knew this on Monday, guys, that this, and this. Wait, yeah, last Monday, we knew that that was the target for the bottom for last week. Okay, this was the sell zone. Very, very obvious sell if you're a bear. Very obvious. Lower low, lower high. Okay, that's your sell zone. That's your target if you sold here. So that's the logical bottom, right? So if you can kind of pick up a bounce here where it goes double bottom, higher high, higher low, higher high, then you got it, man. You got it. I'm not saying it's going to. Listen to me. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm saying if you are a bull now, is there any reason why this looks bullish to you at the moment? No, that's not bullish. Look, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So I'm not saying you should be a bull. But if you're a bull waiting to go long, wouldn't it be really interesting to get a higher low, or a higher high, higher low? That's how you'd put together a bullish trade plan. Now, why would you do that? Well, because A, that's a logical bottom, and B, you're front running next month's pivot points, that bullish pivot points. Okay? You got it? So you're not like guessing. I mean, you could, if it double bottomed here, you could try to make a bottom, but especially if it went higher, higher, low, higher, high. Okay, you have this week's pivot long, next month's pivot long, so you combine them. Okay? Now, what if you think that's phooey? Then you're a bear. Cool. So where's the best place to sell as a bear? This is going to be awesome. If it does come up here, guys, this is going to be an awesome place to sell. It's a selling pivot on a weekly basis. It's a selling pivot on a monthly basis. It's also a role reversal. Okay? And this is where bears, or bulls, by the way, really have the learning experience. Because if the bears are still here and they sell again, the bulls are waiting for this higher low, higher high stuff and never get the entry because the whole thing collapses. You got it? So as a bull, you might as well wait. So you could take a shot here as a bull or take a shot there. But remember, you still need like a 5A cross up or a 5A cross up. So if you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and instead it higher highs, and you go, ha! And then it goes down, 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 down. You're like, oh, shoot, never got my entry. Okay. Enter on the second leg of a W safety. Yeah, well, we call this a hammock. Double bottom with a higher high, higher low is called, that's a 1, 2, 3 pattern. So that would be your trade plan. Okay. You would say in your trade plan, double bottom at obvious support, support being last week's logical target. If you don't have the support, the whole thing's nonsense. 2, okay, higher high above the double bottom at a logical support. 3, higher low, probably at a roll reversal. Okay, so you'd be long here, okay, on the way up. And bears are simply like, okay, this looks like a higher high on this time frame, but probably not on that time frame or this time frame. So to a bear now, what does it look like? Okay, to a bear, your trade plan for the month is going to be this. Okay, and a bear doesn't even see all this nonsense we just talked about the 1, 2, 3. On a 4-hour chart, you don't even see it. So to a bear, let's get rid of this. This is the bullish move. That's gone if you're a bear. You don't care about that. So a bear only on a 4-hour only sees what? This. Okay. So that's sort of like short-term long versus long-term short. Okay. See what I mean? But bears, look how clear the support is. You got to be careful, bro. You can mix it like this too if you'd rather. Because look at all of this, man. Look at all of that. Look at it. Don't turn your back on me. Right? So there's reason to be concerned if you're a bear. Okay? Whoever shorted up here is probably taking some profit. But on a longer term basis, like Prestige here, lower low, lower high, in this area, yeah, if I was a bear, I'd do that all night long. I have a question here. 21. Should I wait for a 2155 cross to buy if I'm a bull? Well, let me clarify. The 2155 cross doesn't put you into a trade. It only is a definition, of a bullish market when it crosses above. Typically, what you do then is wait for the next cycle on the 5/8. So you get like a 2155 cross here. But even then, on this example, because it's a reversal, you don't get an easy one. You know, you should still wait. I guess what I'm saying is there's whatever the retracement's going to be. 5/8 cross, take the next shot, right? 5/8 cross, take the next shot. 5/8 cross. Okay. It probably looks better on a smaller time anyways. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. You know, like, so again, when I look at all of this, way more important than things like moving averages are just price action. Okay. Okay. Just because, I guess you're saying you're cautious, looking to be a bull in something that's been a bearish market for a while, and that's healthy. Okay. But here's the thing. Is it really a bearish market? Is this a higher high? Is that a higher low? Is this a higher high? Is that a higher low? Is this a higher high? Why not look for a higher low? Yeah, it's been a bearish market for a month, but it's been a bullish market for how many years? I don't know, whatever many years. Okay. German CPI. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to keep going. If there's a surprise, let me know. We can look at the euro. Okay. Looking at CAD yen, or Aussie yen, sorry. We trapped this sucker on the bottom. I said it'd probably work its way to the top. I identified this as a top because of that. in the 3.5 weeks I was gone, it did this, and then it's now moving back to support, which makes sense. So long story short, in the last 6 weeks, nothing's happened. Yay! Thank you, Aussie Yen. If I were me, I'd probably start watching Baltic Dry Index. All right, everyone's excited about your German CPI. All right, fine. Let me get trade the news for you. By the way, if you're enjoying today's webinar,
the various German stage reports about the session,
give me a thumbs up,
visually
please.
indicating that it likely will come in line.
This is tradethenews.com.
To see some South Africa budget data for June, there are no estimates. The prior deficit was 17.7 billion rand.
You're in a sell zone, by the way, if you're a bear.
In terms of other events, we'll see Spain announce the size for its upcoming issuance.
No, Frank, but I'm hoping the next week. I've been sick since I got back, so I apologize for that.
German July preliminary CPI year-on-year or month-on-month comes in. Still waiting the data. Sometimes it is delayed fractionally.
This is a sell zone for bears. Yeah, but they're expected to raise interest rates, so that'd be bullish. I'm talking about pounds.
Priced in line.
In line? You didn't even yell it out. 0.3 year over year, 2.1, I think. Yeah. 2.0 versus 2.1. So it's basically a miss. I don't know why you didn't babble it out.
Spain just commenting on the upcoming issuance for Thursday, where they'll sell 4 tranches of bonds.
There it is.
Seagate STX reporting $1.57 on 2.8 billion in revenue. That would be in line with the consensus estimate on revenue.
All right, thank you, Trade the News. All right. So if you're a bear on euro dollar, guys, this is a sell zone for the week. I think these might be monthly. No, it's 30 minutes. Yeah, for the week. Your target would be the green zone. Just heads up. Do what you got to do, boy. Yeah, well, some of you guys are freaking out. I don't know who it was. 3 minutes to German CBI. 2 minutes to German CBI. I'm like, okay, bro. You're the boss. So anyways, that's a sell zone. That's the target. All right, so if that gives you strength to do what you want to do, now you have to set up your trade. You're in the right zone. Now you have to set up a tactical entry. Okay, so a lower low, lower high, double top drop is probably the most common. All right. This is our pig dog. What I was trying to tell you is that Carney maybe, just maybe, will raise interest rates this week. Okay, so I'm not really worried about Brazil or India or the United States or Japan. I think the Bank of England could do it, though. And like I said, like a good stubborn Canadian, he'll do it out of spite. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should live with a Canadian for a while. You'll find out. So he'll just do it because he can. So that would be bullish for the Great British Pound. Oh, for OCO, I use, there's tons of them, by the way, so you can use all kinds. But I use this auto stop one. This is the question, working my way through the scalping course, what OCO software am I using? I'm using this one, and apparently it's created by fxautomated.com. It's called Auto Stop. Okay. Passive aggressive. Yeah. Yeah, someone asked me the OCO software I use. Eternal Soul asked. That's the one I do. So every time I trade, what I do is you got to turn auto trading on, and then you drag the sucker across, and it says, hey, if I execute a trade, what stop loss do you want? What limit order do you want? And I have it on a standard default of 2550 OCO. One cancels the other. But you could easily just say, all right, I want this to be a swing trade, so let's make this 5150. Okay? And the nice thing about this is then when I enter the trade, it just makes sure I have my stops in the market, both for profit and for loss, so all that's calculated. But then I have more than enough time to adjust that. Over time, like I could move my stop to break even, and then a few days later, I'll say, you know what, this is going good. I'm going to move my stop from 150 to 300. Okay? Or if I'm scalping, I might do 15-15. I might do 15-30. Although 30 is hard to scalp. That takes, these days, that takes sometimes an hour and a half, right? So 15-15. I could be scalping on a 1 minute chart, 15 pip stop, 15 pip limit. Just bang out 3 of those and like, boom, 45 pips. Right? Time for breakfast. Okay? Yeah, my pleasure. All right. So anyways, this might go up. There's nothing here that really shows it. But if that was your plan, what kind of strategy would you use? Cool. Great question, Wayne. All right. If you're a bull, let's do it on an hourly. If you were a bull, what would your weekly plan be? My weekly plan would be this. By the way, did I predict this? Holy snap. Looks like I did. Okay. My weekly plan would be to be long right here. In fact, 12 hours ago, that was my plan, if I was a bull. Okay. Okay. That would be my plan. Now, what about if I wanted to be long based on a monthly plan, not a week? See, that's a weekly swing. What about a monthly swing? My monthly says I want to be long somewhere in here. So that's totally valid. But what if I'm wrong this week and it falls down to here and hits the weekly target? See, this green zone is the weekly target. Am I still allowed to consider going long for the rest of the month? Hell yeah, it's all good. So maybe it falls now and then Carney jacks it up. Could happen. So develop a plan. Gold, as long as the US dollar is strong, gold is depressed. Right? I'm reading all kinds of articles, like read one in the Barron's magazine this weekend. Even though I've been sick, I had that much of a cigar, which is great, and that much of a coffee. And I sat and I read the Barron's as long as I possibly could, trying to keep my trading spirit high. And I read an article of gold about just like how gold just cannot go up. and that the US dollar is going to be super strong forever, and that gold is probably just going to fall and fall and fall, which just tells me that ain't going to happen. So if they're writing about in Barron's, you know it's probably wrong. Not that Barron's is wrong, the fact that somebody's writing their opinion, I don't know. They're wrong. I mean, 95% of people are wrong, right? So they're wrong. So there's all kinds of reasons for this to go up. Maybe not at the moment, but I think there's lots of reasons why the US dollar can weaken, even though, I understand, even though there's a huge divergence in central banking policy and a huge divergence in interest rate differentials. I've taken multiple classes, have multiple textbooks, have aced multiple tests. I get it. I got it. I know it's good. My trades are tight, right? But they're wrong. How about that for ego? Yeah, but they're all wrong. What does Harvard know about financial markets, right? The US dollar is a reserve currency, and it changes things a bit. Okay. But anyways, I think there are reasons why the US dollar can still weaken if things go good. And here's the thing. I think the biggest drag right now in the US is what I thought the biggest drag on China was 3 years ago. And that's Europe. Europe just refuses to adopt capitalism. They're still sort of stuck somewhere between socialism, capitalism, and fascism or something. I don't know. So it's really, really stuck, and it's got some really big problems. And I don't know, it must be the culture or something, but we're a long ways away from fixing it. But if Europe could just say, all right, let's go capitalist, let's fix some of our problems quickly, we'll pay the penalty, but we'll take the bitter medicine quickly. And then we'll start importing again. See, one of the problems is Europeans don't import. They used to import, they don't import now. Why is that? Because as soon as the economy got going again, and that happened when Draghi said he'll do whatever it takes to support the euro, so we fixed the whole Greek crisis and all that kind of stuff, right? Greece didn't go bankrupt. Well, probably did, but you know, we fixed Greece, we fixed Italy, we fixed Spain, we fixed Ireland, we fixed Portugal. And I kind of laugh when I'm saying it, but anyways, we got past that crisis, right? And then as soon as the economy started booming again, what do? They start taxing the crap out of everybody, and then the governments don't spend. So when you read a textbook, so let's go back to the textbook. What happens when you jack up everyone's taxes, but with all that new money, you don't reinvest into society? What happens to the government? What happened in Europe when the king came in, took more and more of your stuff, but did nothing for you? Right? That's kind of how I look at it. I don't know. Look, if you're going to raise people's taxes, which is just, that's a social decision, right? Great. So if you're going to raise people's taxes, go out and build the roads and the bridges and all that kind of stuff. They kind of need to do it in the United States, and they kind of are doing it in the United States. But I don't know, build some infrastructure or something, right? And do something, but I don't know. It seems to me that there's a bigger overall problem between the ECB and how all the different governments are managed independently, but working together under all these convoluted rules. It makes it really tough for the average European citizen to say, you know what, I'm going to buy a Corvette. Sorry, that was funny. Yeah, some Italian, he's like smoking. He's like, I'm thinking of getting that Corvette. I'll go down to my Chevy dealer and get to my Corvette and drink some Sangiovese and drive a Corvette. we're a long ways away from that, I think. But if we can get the European economy fixed, I mean truly fixed, not band-aids, then maybe they'll buy some American stuff, they'll buy some Chinese stuff. But right now, Europeans are just not importing. And is that a good thing? No. When you live in a global economy, when there are economies like the United States that can specialize, or economies like, let's say, India and China as easy examples that can manufacture more cheaply, then importing is the whole point of macroeconomics. Free trade, right? You're like, I can get better stuff from this country, I can get cheaper stuff than that country, and now you're better off, right? But what if you're not even buying anything? Are you better off? No. So how do we get Europe to fix that problem? I don't know. But if they decided to actually do something, that'd be great. Okay, that'd be really great. It's sort of the last thing we kind of need to fix, because then China does better, and Australia does better, and Canada does better. We're all sort of waiting for Europe, because how big is Europe now? 500 million people? 600 million? It's a lot, right? It's a lot of people not importing stuff. Right? Sorry. Still a little bit sick. I think I lost you guys on that tirade. Sorry. I'll blame the cough medicine. So anyways, long story short, why not? The dollar doesn't have to go up. Let's just keep that in mind. If everyone says that gold can't go up, just bear in mind that your job isn't to listen to them. Your job is to say, well, it looks like it stopped falling. So that doesn't mean up, but it certainly doesn't mean down, right? So we got to be smart about these things. I've already identified support and resistance. I've already done a lot of this stuff for you guys. You can even drag it around like this and say, look, if you wanted to sell, you want to sell up here. So wouldn't it be great if gold did go up this week? That would be killer. Oops. That would be killer if gold did go up. And then if you're a bear, it might be better to sell high. Now, I look at this and I don't think it's going to go this high. So I'm thinking here. Which means if you're a bull, you can, if you get the right technical analysis to confirm your entry, have a trade plan here and take your profit here. And what if it drops and then rises up into here? That's go time. That your follow-up trade and your follow-up trade and your follow-up trade would happen there, okay? Okay? So just don't get lulled into this idea that, because you can get really important people with really impressive backgrounds saying things like, you just look at the interest rate in the United States and you look at the interest rate in the rest of the world. The United States is by far the highest and is likely to raise it further. Therefore, the dollar has to strengthen. And I'll say that makes sense. Totally makes sense. It's not what's going to happen, but I read that textbook too. Now, if we were talking about the New Zealand dollar and the New Zealand dollar was 5% and the rest of the world was, 2%, 1%, or 0, then, yeah, New Zealand dollar would be right up there and it'd be like the textbook. And I'd say, that's what they said, and that's happened. But let me tell you something. The US dollar is not the New Zealand dollar. There is a difference. One is the reserve currency. So if business can just simply function at some level, even without the Europeans, if they don't want to participate, fine. The rest of the world still uses US dollars to conduct business. So as long as business is being conducted, there will be a global supply of dollars. And that should temper the strength of the US dollar. because what's happening is it actually gets put into the market. But just be open-minded enough to say it's not as simple when it comes to reserve currency as interest rate differentials. It's important, but there are bigger things that are even more important, okay? Unless you're a third world country, then you're really super concerned about the value of the US dollar. Because you're poor and you borrowed lots and lots of money in US dollar terms, and your currency is crap because you're poor. So now you have to pay back your debt, and your debt gets bigger and bigger. That's a real problem, right? Especially if your currency is getting weaker and weaker and your debt gets bigger and bigger. It's a double whammy against you, right? So that's probably the biggest concern. The more the US dollar goes up, the more the developing world is punished. Running out of energy. You guys want to do some oil? So I have this all spec'd out for you weeks in advance. I hope you appreciate that. Okay. This is an inside week. Sorry, an inside month. This is the old scalp, by the way. If you remember, we did this on a 1-minute chart back in here. Cool. Still working out. So if you're specializing in the energy complex, right? You gotta say that, man. The chicks dig it. What do you do? Oh, I trade the energy complex. I could explain it to you, but it's complex. But anyways, I hope you're watching inventory data, supply and demand data. I hope you're watching like OPEC, IEA, and EIA reports. It's all there. So you have to decide, are you a bull or a bear here? Well, let's see. Right? We had this as a bull here. We did a 1-minute scalp here, which actually predicted this high, which actually we got here and then here. But what else could you do? Well, this bottom here, which I drew the gray line, and I had this channel. I don't know where the channel went, but we did predict this as well. I hope you guys recall that. But anyways, this is a buy zone, isn't it? Can you see that? It's a buy zone. Funny thing is that's a sell, but that's a buy. All pre-established. Higher high, right? All right? Look at this support here, just gorgeous. Higher high. So let's say 12 hours ago you were thinking about buying it. Okay? Where would you want to buy it? I'll give you a hint. You could have done this calculation on Friday. Right here. Can anybody confirm that? That that's something that I've taught you? That if you're a bull, that was pretty obvious? Wes, Charles, Jacques, Matthiel Han, Martin, Brooke, Frank, yeah, Eternal Soul. That's killer, right? And let's say you didn't front run it on Friday. This is a buy this morning, or sorry, it would have been yesterday afternoon for me, but it's the same thing. So we should be on our same page. And by the way, this red zone is the target. Okay. And what happens if we hit this today or tomorrow? What am I going to do? The first part would be take profit. But the second part is I can consider a counter trend trade, and that allows me to sell. So I'm not saying I have to or I will. Besides take profit, you'd have to take profit here, otherwise you have no control over your trading. But if you hit this red zone today or tomorrow, you have permission to consider shorting. If it was Thursday or Friday, you do not have permission. Wednesday, 50-50. But if it's Monday or Tuesday, you have permission to consider it. Now, here's the cool thing. You ready for this? You could counter trend it. Down to here. Wait, did I just predict a $7 fall? Yeah. 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 If it didn't occur there, it would occur here. Okay. Let's go farther out. You ready? Wait for it. Okay. Let's click in. I have this up here because 3 weeks ago we talked about this setup as sort of a shoulder. This is still, look how wide the zone is. I know it's wide. Look, I didn't create the pivots, but somewhere in there is a possible shoulder. So let me try to draw it. So it would end up looking like this. Okay. And then maybe just to finish it up. Okay. So that would bring it down to here, which is that is the pattern, right? Now, I don't even want this. So let me just be, let me be clear that that's not my analysis. It's not my desire. It just sets up the potential for that. Jacques, a counter trend means the trend has been up, but under those circumstances you sell. How you sell, that's up to your tactical entry. 15-minute, 5-minute, 1 minute. It's your call, my friend. Knowing that it's likely to fall there is 10,000 times more difficult than how do you pull the trigger? You can just go like that. But hopefully you have a little more technical analysis than that, right? Well, everything is shorter time frame. But if by shorter time frame you mean, it'll only last a short amount of time, well, that's not true. I'm saying it actually sets up the potential to fall for the entire month. So will it fall for a half an hour? Yeah, probably. A day? Yeah, probably. A couple of days? Yeah. A week? It could. The rest of the month? Potentially. But at the end of the day, I don't know anything more than you do. All right? But we talked about this actually probably a month and a half ago, that this was likely to set up. That's why this chart is so ugly. But I set this up a month and a half ago. That it could, first of all, we were up here, that it could fall to the neckline, rally up to a right shoulder, and then drop all the way actually eventually to this next area. Which sucks because I'm a bull. But my bias and market conditions can be two different things, right? You see what I mean? Now, that's a difficult thing to do, isn't it? To be mentally and emotionally, let's say intellectually and emotionally bullish, but open-minded and aware enough that I probably won't get what I want. Right? So I got to be aware. I got to be very aware. Unless you think we're on our way to $100 oil. Okay? What are you going to need for that? Shutting down Iran, a complete shutdown of Venezuela, a strike in Libya, and for some reason, frackers in the United States not fracking, Russia somehow not cheating. I mean, I think we can get to $100 oil, but this month? Okay. So why not like down for August, up the rest of the year? How about that? Does that seem reasonable? What if oil fell from 70 or 71 down to 64, 65? Maybe even a little bit lower. 60? Let's say it fell from 71 to 61. And then from 61 to 81 by the end of the year. Is that within reason? You know, then we need to stay open-minded. But at this point, we got to be very cautious. Okay. Let me see if I can do one more. Let's go to a yen pair. Pick a yen, any yen. Kindly upload vid. I'm recording it on YouTube, so as soon as I hit stop, it renders and is put on the site. So it's up there. But there's only 34 likes. Could I get a few more thumbs up, I mean? Wow, Jacques, your message got blocked. I think you only typed in pound yen but misspelled it, so I think it thought you were swearing. Jacques. Right on, Ben. I appreciate that. All right. Let's do Kiwi. Let's do Kiwi. It's funny, like I said, I was reading Barron's magazine, and apparently in a previous issue. By the way, I'm a subscriber, and I like reading the magazine. I don't get any information from it. I just like hearing what other people do in the finance industry. There's often interviews of portfolio managers and such, but I haven't had the free time to really sit and read for, I think it's 6 months was the last time I had a chance to sit and read. Anyways, I was reading sort of even the area that talked about letters that were mailed in by readers. And someone had made a comment on a previous article about cheese. And they're like, hey, so how do I trade the cheese market if I want to track cheese? And they're like, oh, well, there's an S&P 500 cheese index, and there's this, that, and the other thing, which I thought was kind of strange, and some cheese stock. But they didn't mention that you can trade the New Zealand dollar. Okay? So, right? So, the New Zealand dollar has a high correlation to lactose prices. And where do you get that information? And by the way, that wasn't written in the article either. The Fonterra Global Dairy Market Auction. The Fonterra Global Dairy Auction. That comes out every 2 weeks. And that's for milk and cheese and powdered milk and lactose and all these other derivatives from dairy. And that can directly impact the value of the New Zealand dollar. So that wasn't even said in the Barron's article about cheese and the cheese industry and how to trade cheese. And they mentioned, like I said, there's an index and some other S&P 500 product, and there's some ETFs, and there's some this, but they never mention just the Fonterra dairy market and the New Zealand dollar. Common sense for us traders. We all knew that, but I'd like to point it out one more time. You can get that every 2 weeks. Okay. So anyways, I marked this up several days ago that you could look for a double bottom. Let me zoom in a click or two. Around this price, I can't even see what that is. What is it, 75? This area around 75 could produce a bottom. Cool. I didn't get nearly what I wanted, but nonetheless. So what do we do with it now? Well, the interesting thing is the revised price is still about the same because nothing really happened over the last week. Okay. So if we can get a high, this brings me encouragement. First of all, it's a higher high, so you can look for a higher low. But a bear would sell here. I'm telling you this now in case we get up there. So if you're a bear, you're going to want to sell that. Okay? The reason for it is this is the projected high for the week. What is it? 76.30 is the projected high for this week for Kiwi yen. But 76.25 is the sell pivot for the month of August. Oh, some of you guys didn't know about the correlation between global dairy prices and the New Zealand dollar? Cool. Well, make sure you look it up. Fonterra Dairy Auction. They have a beautiful website. There's lots of data and trend information about dairy prices. And then you can take a look at how that turned out and overlap that with the history of the New Zealand dollar. And see if you can find a helpful pattern. Also, you can plot, like I said, that comes out every 2 weeks. Find out what days they come out and watch it for a few months and see if you like it. You might find the dairy auctions come out and all of a sudden Kiwi jumps 40 pips and you're like, what the heck was that? Oh, that was dairy auction. No, not Montana. Fonterra. I think it's Fonterra. You know what? Let's just Google it for you. Hang on. I'll bring it up. And then I gotta go. I'm tired. Fonterra Dairy Auction. I'll just try that and see what comes up. So I found it. It's just loading here. This is the site. It's a beautiful site, right? Look at it. Look at dairy prices falling. Whoa, 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 whoa! Anyways, it's beautiful stuff. Look at this. The price index over 10 years. Crazy, huh? That's an interesting one. So let's try that again. And I guess we'll just use yen. We've got to go monthly almost, right? Okay, you ready for this? Wait for it. Whoa, what? Wait, what? Can't quite get any more data than that, but are you ready? What? What? So it's only this much information, right? What? 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 It's the same chart. What are you talking about? What? Damn, boy. Global dairy prices. The price of powdered lactose correlates with the value of the Kiwi yen. Oh, snap, right? Yeah, but only for 10 years straight. And they're saying it's going to drop sometime because of less buying from China. Well, that would do it. I told you, if you wanted to save New Zealand, Australia, and Canada, you got to save China. The United States has already done its part. So the way to save China is to get Europe on board. But Europe can't do anything. And you can't just blame the design of the ECB, which has some really serious problems and flaws in its design. But you get something like, oh, let's do Brexit, and then let's not do anything about it for years on end. Maybe we should do another referendum. Oh, my God. Right? It's like, really? So anyways, yeah, I'm spent. Sorry, guys, I'm still a bit sick. So peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Please visit tradersway.com. Open an account there. All live account holders will soon be able to attend a live 5-day training course that I'm going to host on how to day trade. Day trading? Okay. So that'll be free. I don't know. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks from now. I've been sick all last week, and now I got to get together with the executive team and plan it out and set it up and promote it. And I have to finish writing some of my presentation notes, and but soon, okay? So please visit tradersway.com, open up a live account. You can choose between an ECN account, a variable spread account, or a fixed spread account, depending on whether you like to swing, spot, scalp, position trade. It's all there. 8:45 in the morning, I'm ready for a nap. So I apologize for being sick all last week and still now, but I do thank you for your patience. So namaste. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Please leave a comment. YouTube likes these things. Just say thanks, and just say thanks. Leave a comment. I'd really appreciate that. Take care, everyone.